Guys, welcome back to another episode of Free Smoke, and this week we'll be debating Drake's Nothing Was the Same versus J. Cole's 2014 Forest Hills Drive. I'll be representing Drake, and you'll be representing J. Cole, of course. And last time we did this, it got pretty heated. I ended up taking it in the polls, but the comments were kind of split. A lot of people thought that we both did enough to deserve a win. But let's see what happens this week.
Absolutely. Man. So Nothing Was the Same versus 2014 Forest Hills Drive. That's a crazy matchup. And we were thinking about this because, both albums came out around 2013 and 2014. Both massive projects actually for their discographies. And I think it's actually both their third studio album. So
it is
very fitting to compare. So let's actually get into the rules of this. If you guys are new to this series, guys, please subscribe if you have not already, because we're going to do these often. And the rules go like this. So we have three main criterias that Lou and I are going to be going through. We have artistry, we have production, and we have impact. Those actually make up the rounds as well, so there's 3 rounds in total. Per each round and criteria, there is a 2-minute explanation period for both Lou and I, and then per each round as well, there is a 3-minute argument period where Lou and I get to go at it, and that's when the free smoke gets unleashed. So that's going to be fun. It's always a great time doing these, and guys, how you decide the winner is through our YouTube community tab, so the poll will be up at this point. As soon as the video is uploaded, then you guys will have your say. So head to our YouTube community tab to get this going. Are you ready, man? Last time you got it on me, but I'm coming back with a vengeance this time.
Let's see if I could defend this title, man.
Okay,
all right. So Anthony chose the coin toss last time. So Luca, it is your turn to call it heads or tails.
All right, man.
What are you going with?
Give me the heads.
Oh,
I'll take the heads.
I think last time I lost on that.
And it's tails.
It's tails. So
tails.
What are you choosing for the order out here?
You know what? You gave it to me last time.
You give it back to me.
I'll give it back to you. I'll let you start off with
guys,
artistry.
This means that I will be tackling artistry first. Anthony will be doing production first, and then I will be doing impact first. So let's get it started.
All right. So your 2 minutes for artistry, Luca. Start right now.
Drake's Nothing Was the Same is one of his best albums, if not his best, and this masterpiece is only 13 songs, his most focused album, and does not lose momentum for a single minute. Not only that, but if you truly think about it, this is one of the best R&B and hip-hop albums that we've seen as a hybrid ever, and this kind of was a catalyst for other R&B/rap albums to come in future years. Not only that, but I love how Drake told us a story through an album cover, as we see him as a child with his head in the clouds to kind of represent how he feels lost in this world of being a superstar and being in this world as a celebrity. And then he goes into those themes in the albums on songs like Too Much, where he actually talks about how this new fame and this new wealth has actually had him moving backwards, as he goes into how he's not even seeing his parents or his family anymore for dinners because of how occupied he is, and how, people have kind of changed up over time. Not only that, but if you think about it, both 2014 Forest Hills Drive and Nothing Was the Same tackle singing and rapping, but Drake does a far better job, because if you look at songs like Saint Tropes and Apparently, Cole, his singing is really off key at certain points, but Drake masters that craft of doing both, because you have some of his best R&B and singing songs ever with Hold On We're Going Home, and then you have some of his best lyrical offerings ever with Tuscan Leather, with the pound cakes of that album. He pretty much put it all out on the line here and hasn't missed for a single second, and he really showed that he might be the most balanced vocalist in all of hip-hop, and everything that he did, everything that he touched has a meaning and a message. The features that he chose for this project were phenomenal. They all served their place. Think about Sampha's gorgeous vocals on Too Much and how they relate to the theme of that song. Not only that, but I love how layered each song is. Look at Furthest Thing. It starts off with a very dark beat and ends off with a sunny beat, and it's kind of meant to display this duality of having the dark and the light. Not only that, but if you look,
your 2 minutes are up.
That was a great explanation, by the way.
I had so much more to add.
I know. I know. We'll get through that on the 3-minute though.
All right. So Ant, your 2 minutes for artistry start right now.
I'm going to start like this. I think 2014 Forest Hills Drive is a much better completed concept than Nothing Was the Same, for the simple being that, yes, maybe Drake didn't got him on the R&B and singing performance, but when it comes to rapping and delivering messages on this album, J. Cole absolutely blows him out of the water. And let's actually start with that album cover that you were mentioning, because J. Cole does the exact same thing. The whole concept of 2014 is going back to his childhood and trying to find his roots again amidst all of the fame and all of the fortune that he has. You see him you see him sitting down in his childhood home, and then you even see the way that, the whole track list progresses together. So starting with the intro, he's going through these different types of emotions in childhood. Example with songs like '03 Adolescence and Wet Dreams, where he's talking about coming up, growth, and having aspirations. Then, you have songs like A Tale of Two Cities and Fire Squad that, kind of tackle more of like the hungry side of J. Cole to get to that point of success, and then eventually getting the crown with Fire Squad. And then, there's more track development, because then you get to Saint Tropez, and it's kind of like the trip to Hollywood where J. Cole actually gets there, and then he starts to realize, fuck, this is not what it seems. And then songs like GOMD and songs like No Role Models highlight those things of fame that, people don't fuck with, and the things that are toxic. And then as you go through the rest of the album, J. Cole starts to get more gratitude. And I also want to talk about the way J. Cole carried this feature list, because there is no feature list. This is literally 13 songs of J. Cole pure rapping. This is fantastic from start to finish. If you also want to go on the diversity of all of his performances, there is so many different highlights to look at. I actually enjoyed his harmonies on Apparently. I actually enjoyed, some of his rapping onslaughts on January 28th, where he's talking about being the best in the game. Not only that, but if you want to also talk about, a single like No Role Models, where it's 6 times platinum now, but he's also talking about, who you letting into your life, what types of energies are affecting you. These are messages that are being portrayed with such ease and such slickness. Not only that, but 13 songs back to forth, it covers that whole thematic basis. It was much better
and
executed.
Your 2 minutes are up.
All right. That was great.
So you guys both gave 2 minutes for Artistry. So the 3-minute rebuttal period for Artistry starts right now.
All right. So I want to ask you this, because you were saying how it's a much better executed concept, right? So to challenge that, what the fuck is Wet Dreams doing on that track list, man?
Oh, well, no, that kind of shows where J. Cole was at when he was in his earlier stages of life.
It's corny, bro.
No, absolutely
we have to look
not.
at it back now and say that it's a corny song and has no place, bro.
Absolutely
It's about him popping a boner in math class. We don't need that content from J. Cole on that album.
Anyone that's watching this video will agree that Wet Dreams is a good song.
It's an enjoyable song.
Absolutely, so it's not corny.
It's an enjoyable song, but it is corny now that you look at it and you look at the actual concept of the album. It has no place.
No, but it's actually showing the way that he was thinking in his adolescence, how innocent he was, and how that kind of changed with songs like No Role Models. You needed to see that character progression from Wet Dreams to somewhere like No Role Models, because you started to see his attitude towards women change.
That had nothing to do with it, though.
Because No Role Models highlights a very important theme in this album for him, and it's you can't trust anyone where you're at the top of that game,
what
especially
does that have to do
women.
with Wet Dreams?
Wet Dreams was showing the mindset at the beginning of the album.
The mindset that he was an excited teenager. That's pretty much all it was.
But that's what it was at surface value. That was the story part of it. But if you look at the structure of this track list, he is in his adolescence at that point at the beginning of the track list. Something like Wet Dreams was showing his mind state when he was interacting with females.
Yeah, but it was totally useless.
No, it
I got enough of that on '03 Adolescence. That was a good song that portrayed that. Another point that I want to make is the fact that from front to back, from track 1 to track 13, I think Nothing Was the Same is more concise as an album.
Oh, I'm going to disagree.
Not only that, but
I'm going to disagree with that.
You can't take songs like Intro or Note to Self and play them on their own. With Nothing Was the Same, you can take any one of these songs and play them, put them in any playlist that you want, but you can't do that with J. Cole. And that's why Drake's Nothing Was the Same serves as the better all-around album, because it's more accessible in terms of taking them as solo songs, and as a project, it flows perfectly.
Oh, I don't know about that, bro. Especially with the way J. Cole executed all the writing on this album. I mean, even songs like GOMD and A Tale of Two Cities, like, I'll agree with you. I think the intro and the outro are better on Nothing Was the Same.
Of course. Tuscan Leather and Pound Cake.
Bro, listen, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you, but what I will tell you is that from start to finish, if you want to ask me which one was a more coherent story with the progression of J. Cole throughout the whole album and talking about the concept, bro.
How was the concept not executed on Nothing Was the Same?
I explained.
No, but how was it not executed on Nothing Was the Same?
Okay, so go through that whole track list, and I want you to explain me the story through that track list like I just did with you at 2014.
What story did you explain? That he was in his adolescence, then his adulthood? How was it a story?
No, the part... Okay, no, hold on. I got to talk here. The part of him being his adolescence, being hungry to be able to be successful, getting to
It's the same story with Drake. What do you mean?
No, but explain me how the tracks are able to play into that.
What do you mean how the tracks are able to play into that?
Right then, the track sequencing throughout the whole track list. And there's no order for that on Nothing Was the Same. I understand that it covers that exact same topic, but it does not do it in the way that 2014 did.
It does it in a more ambiguous way. Look at a song like Worst Behavior. When he's saying Motherfucker Never Loved Us, he's talking about his father. Not only that, but he's also talking about how society never appreciated hip hop in the mainstream.
Absolutely.
And now they do. And that's why he has a line where he says, you never thought that a rap album could sell like it's pop, because he's celebrating the growth.
And the 3-minute rebuttal period for Artistry is over. It's getting a little tense like last
Why
time.
you cheese, bro?
Bro, I had like 30 seconds of runtime on that, but let's
No,
keep
no,
going.
that was fairly
That was
even.
fairly even. Nick would have stepped in if it wasn't.
Yeah,
I don't know, bro.
exactly. So we are going on to production, and I believe Anthony is going first. So your 2 minutes for production starts right now.
I want to talk about the focus of the project before anything when I'm talking about production, because first of all, this was all executed by J. Cole, 10 out of 13 tracks to be exact with you. And I think this also speaks to how flow and how smooth this album is as an overall listen, because again, you're going to start from 1 to 13 and it's going to feel almost as one big song with all kinds of different tempo switches and all kinds of different stuff. But the thing is that J. Cole did this himself. This was his vision. When you want to talk about focus and passion and what you're putting into a project, you don't want anyone else touching those types of projects. Example, like what Kanye does on his albums. J. Cole replicated that formula and having to see out his own vision throughout this whole track list. Now, when help was needed, you also had some legendary placements by Vinyls, DJ Dahi, Ill Mind, Cardiac, some of the best producers that have ever touched anything in the industry. Now, I also want to talk about the diversity in samples, because this was probably one of the best sampled albums from the 2010 decade. I'll go with GOMD. That was a Berta Berta by Branford Marseilles, a classy jazz blues sample. January 28th was actually by Hi-Fi Set Sky Restaurant, an old Japanese pop rock sample. Wet Dreams was Family Circle's Mariah, was a soul and funk sample. Then you had 03 Adolescence, that was done by D'Angelo's All Right, an R&B classic. So there was a lot of diversity within that track list. And yes, I'll give, nothing was the same, the drum programming or whatever it is, but when it comes to diversity in a start to finish, when you're going through this production, nothing really hits like 2014 Forest Hills Drive. Not only that, but let's go to Out 3 Adolescence and the way that he's able to pick up such a beautiful concept and make it seem so cinematic with, this orchestral sort of vibe starting off at the beginning of the song. And even going to No Role Models, that was done by J. Cole and it sounded absolutely flawless. But the thing is that I can't give Drizzy a single producing credit on this. So for me, I gotta give it to that just because of the focus of the album. The production choices were much nicer. Plus, all the production choices had a part to play in the overall theme of the album.
And your 2 minutes are up. So, Luca, your 2 minutes for production starts right now.
First of all, I think that it's really a bad argument to make that since J. Cole produced his album, the production is automatically better, because some of the best albums of all time in hip-hop, take To Pimp a Butterfly, for example, was not produced by Kendrick Lamar. But to speak on Nothing Was the Same, Boy Wonder, Noah 40 Shabib, DJ Dahi crafted something that felt so dreamy and so surreal, and that actually portrayed how Drake felt throughout the album, because he felt like he was surreal in this world of celebrity, in this world of excessive parties. It was all new to him, and that's why the production was like that. And 2014 Forest Hills Drive does not have a Tuscan leather. The way that they took that Whitney Houston sample, reversed it, manipulated, hired the pitch of it, and actually manipulated that sample 3 different times, and how Drake rapped over 3 different beats on that one song was impeccable. I had never seen that ever on a hip-hop intro track, and that really set the tone for the entire project. Not only that, but if you look at the drum programming on a song like Wu-Tang Forever, it's mind-blowing. And another song that actually has a really big standout would have to be the DJ Dahi produced song, which is Worst Behavior. And on this song, it starts off with the sound of a UFO landing, and then you get this low-end synth, and the beat just knocks so hard. Not only that, but I love the transitions from each song, because if you look at a song like Wu-Tang Forever, the way that production and that instrumental transitions perfectly into the song Own It is masterful. And that's kind of the sound that Noah 40 Shabib orchestrated here, is making every song flow from one to the next. And that's something the 2014 Forest Hills Drive doesn't have. Not only that, but you brought up samples. No sample on 2014 Forest Hills Drive is more iconic than that L. Goulding sample on Pound Cake, which is beautifully laid out. And then you get another beat switch on that song for Paris Morton, where you have this elegant piano riff. Not only that, but we have to talk about the dreamy keys on From Time. That's one of the most memorable songs in that project.
And your 2 minutes are up. So you guys both had 2 minutes to speak on production. So your 3 minute rebuttal period begins now.
I want to say this about the J. Cole thing. I don't think it's automatically better because J. Cole,
that was your
produced
major
it.
argument.
My argument was that it sounds more focused and coherent to the project because J. Cole was the one that was
has
displaying
nothing to do with it.
Absolutely, it was.
You can't tell me that a project will be more cohesive because the artist was rapping over it.
Absolutely.
No, it's not.
In this case, it
no,
is.
It's
Absolutely.
not at all.
If you want to talk about which album completely embodied that production,
but what was so special about that production? You had boom bap drums. You had a couple of cool samples. Nothing was mind blowing about the production on that album.
Absolutely, it was. It was one of the smoothest listens that I've had on a hip hop album in the 2010 decade. Absolutely, it was. If you want to talk to me about drum programming, fine, I'll give it to you, bro. Take the drum programming and engineering. When I'm talking
about
about
Tuscan Leather, does anything even come close to a Tuscan Leather beat?
I'll
no
give a Tale of
chance.
Two
No
Cities.
way.
A Tale
Not
of Two
even
Cities
close,
is
bro.
fucking incredible.
Guys, A Tale of Two Cities or Tuscan Leather production-wise, let us know in the comments because there's absolutely no way.
Absolutely there is.
There's really no way.
No, absolutely there is. When I'm talking about production, this was coherent for J. Cole all the way through, and it's because he was executing his own vision, and he was the one that was actually behind this. That's why I'm telling you it's so focused.
And you also said it sounded more cohesive in sound. That's wrong. And you said it sounded.
Right.
You said it was also more diverse in terms of instrumentals.
I'm talking about
and it's not,
diverse in samples.
Take a song,
diverse in sample
Take
genres.
a song
Absolutely.
like "Hold On, We're Going Home" and the synth pop influence and how it brought you back to this Michael Jackson, Quincy Jones vibe. Like, I will play that on my wedding. Like, that's how much there is here. Is that
I'll play No Role Models on my wedding. I'm all fucking worried. What do you think is a better produced hip hop album? Take out all the
nothing
pop
was
and
the
R&B.
same very
Absolutely
easily.
not. Absolutely
very
not.
easily, man.
Because most of those tracks actually do have that pop sort of synth sort of production throughout all of it. Like, that's what I'm trying to tell you is that if you want to talk to me about which album was better executed production wise for a hip hop album, a strict hip hop album, 2014 takes it from me. And it's
I
all
think
the
you
way
actually
through.
needed more producers to make the sound more exciting because as much as
You're calling 2014 not exciting?
I said production-wise, it could have used more flavor, and that's the problem is that it was kind of the beats were kind of stagnant. It was kind of sample, and you had a couple of live instruments, but nothing mind-blowing.
Guys,
nothing on the level of nothing was the same.
I'll ask you guys another thing. You guys let me know if 2014 is a boring production album. Let me know, guys.
There's nothing mind-blowing about it. Production-wise,
guys, let me know.
But why are you in the comments? Argue for yourself.
No, but you did that just 2 minutes ago, so I'm going to use the same
but
thing.
I asked the question. I didn't tell them to convince me otherwise. I
asked them the same question. I want them to answer: Is 2014 a boring album to listen to when it comes to production? Does it need more flavor? Did it need more something? I don't think so, especially with all the diversity in production samples and the fact that even if you want other producers on here, you have legendary people working on this album. Fine, I'll take it. If you think it's boring and that's what you want to use as your argument for this one,
for how moody and how ambient Nothing Was the Same was from track to track. No matter what different elements you have, and no matter what other subgenres you have, no matter what subgenres are coming into play, that moody aesthetic is always present. And think about how triumphant the choir sounds on the end of Furthest Thing. Like,
and the 3-minute rebuttal period is over. So we're heading into the final round, which is Impact, and it's beginning with Luca. So Luca, your 2 minutes for Impact start right now.
So with Nothing Was the Same, Drake proved that he can create these hybrid powerhouses of album. Like he did on Take Care, he repeated that type of style on Nothing Was the Same, and it was masterfully executed, and it kind of set the tone for future rap albums to come, where you have that hybrid of singing and rapping, and Drake was kind of the forefront of that because he branded himself as that guy to include both that singing and the rapping and execute it so well in a project. And then we've gotten in the 2010s decade projects like Stoney from Post Malone, projects like Death Race for Love from Juice WRLD, projects like That's What They All Say from Jack Harlow, who all have kind of utilized that style because people love the diversity in the music. Not only that, but let's talk about how many people this album reached. It sold 686,000 copies in its first week. Not only that, but this timeless album actually spent over 380 weeks on the Billboard 200 chart, making it one of the longest charting albums of all time, and it's currently still there. In 2021, right now, that album is at number 134, meaning that it's the 134th most played album in the United States right now, showing how much it's lived. Not only that, 8 out of 13 of these songs have gone platinum. Hold On, We're Going Home went number 4. The classic hits that you've gotten from Drake on this album are timeless. Not only that, but this also led to one of the biggest tours that we've ever seen. If you take it back to the tour called Would You Like a Tour, he went all over the world. He went to Europe. He went to North America. This tour actually had opening acts like J. Cole, like Lil Wayne, like The Weeknd. And what's amazing too is that what he was able to do with this album was also create that motivational type of content matter. Look at a song like Started from the Bottom. There's a story of a man who was actually in prison who heard that song. He heard the music video playing, and him and 30 other inmates were singing the chorus to that song because it was a sense of hope for them that no matter where they started from, no matter what position they were at in life, there'd be a way to make it back to the top.
And your 2 minutes for impact is done. So, Anthony, your 2 minutes for impact begin right now.
I just want to say something about that hybrid comparison. Take Care did it first. So, I mean, yes, there is validity to it. Obviously, it's inspired artists. But if you want to talk about the first Drizzy album that did that, it's Take Care. So, maybe it's a copy-paste situation for me there, but I want to talk about how this album has impacted people on a different level, and that's everything that you'll get with J. Cole because he's such a relatable artist, and this was one of the first times where people were like, fuck, like, it feels like I'm sitting through a therapy session with J. Cole. You know, Cole didn't need pop material for this to go platinum. You know, J. Cole went platinum with no features on here and still had crazy statistics. No Role Models is 6 times platinum and is on the verge of probably going diamond in the future, still with talking about subject matter like, you know, him losing his way and him having girl issues and having trust issues with people because he's famous and people want his money. Now, not only that, but I think when you're looking at the overall album, there's standouts here that speak to people. Love Yours, the concept of loving what you have in front of you, looking at your life and taking it for what it comes and enjoying the natural processes, enjoying the pain that comes with it, enjoying your life and enjoying whatever comes with it. GOMD, being in a situation where you finally got what you wanted and you finally thought all that materialistic stuff would get to you and would finally make you happy, but at the end of the day, all the love you need is internal. No Role Models, same thing, and a song that went 6 times platinum. That song is legitimately about, you know, watching out who you let into your life and who you put energy into. All of these valuable lessons that have touched millions of people. I could even go on the fact that J. Cole is probably one of the most relatable artists out there. The reason why his fan base is so dedicated is because of his message. The way he's rapping, the way he comes at you with these sort of ideologies that come through it. And if you want to take it back to 2014, I'll take it to the actual album title because the whole thing of the album is being able to find yourself, being able to find yourself in the darkest times and being able to progress as a human being. That is something Nothing Was the Same did not do, and that is worth more than any single tour in the world. This is therapy sessions with J. Cole, and this is probably one of the deepest albums that I've gone through, you know, from J. Cole, and probably is going to be one of my favorite albums.
And your 2 minutes are up. So the 3-minute rebuttal period for impact begins right now.
So you're telling me that Drake's Nothing Was the Same did not move people? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, it's not what I said. It's not what I said.
So what did you say then? Clarify.
I said that the messages in 2014 Forest Hills Drive, the messages of gratitude, happiness, and self-accomplishment are worth more than tours that you were mentioning in your previous argument. That's what I meant.
What does the content matter of the album have to do with the impact? Because a lot of songs on this album, on Nothing Was the Same, touch people the same way. A song like From Time, the way that families are distanced when certain life events happen. A song like Started from the Bottom. Think about the anthem that is, the motivation that people have gained through that.
No Role Models did it as well.
That got a prison moving.
No Role Models did that as well. Come on,
we're
talking about
exactly.
one of the
You're
best
saying that
messages.
Nothing Was the Same didn't do it.
No,
and I'm telling you that it did.
But you just mentioned 2 tracks out of 13. That was 2 tracks out of 13.
Let Anthony speak.
Oh, Lou's getting heated. I like this. No, what I'm trying to tell you, though, is that if you want to go based on statistics, fine, I'll do it. But, bro, like...
Numbers-wise, it blows it out of the water.
Okay, so you're telling me that... So Views is more impactful than Nothing Was the Same?
I didn't say that, but...
Okay, but if you want to say... If you want to say... Answer the question. Is
people.
Views more impactful than Nothing Was the Same based on having higher numbers?
But
there you go.
What
so
did
it's an
2014 Forest Hills Drive influence? Influence
invalid.
matters in impact. What did it influence?
Bro, look at the messages in this album and look how many people...
Which projects did this influence? Tell me that.
I can't name you.
You can't name me because there isn't any.
Okay, so that's done.
That's done.
Musically, you're right. Absolutely. I'm talking about on a population. I'm talking about being able to spread a message of love and happiness. That's worth more than numbers, and that's worth more than records sold. Absolutely, it is because people have to consume this.
Let Anthony speak.
Because people have to consume this, bro. It's not a product where here, okay, take it, and because you bought it, it's more impactful. This has touched people's lives. This is therapy for people. When we're talking about 2014, people allowed themselves to go back into their adolescence to find themselves.
Nothing Was the Same didn't touch people.
But it did touch people. I'm saying not on the extent of 2014.
I think it did, because
absolutely
it's something that everybody could relate to. The way that as you grow, you change as a person. Your relationships change. There's so much to dissect
that was
within
like
that
one
album.
out of the 50 different concepts.
listen to a song like Worst Behavior, where he's talking about how no matter what support you have behind you, even if your parents are not present in your life, you can make something for yourself. You know how impactful that is? Do you know how many people took that
absolutely.
song not only as a banger, but also as a life lesson? You can't tell me that just because certain songs in 2014 Forest Hills Drive impacted you more, you can't tell me that that's the case for everybody. Because everybody has personal sentiments to whatever project that they appreciate. Like, you can't tell me that's the big argument for impact.
How these projects impacted people. When I'm talking about
this wins on numbers, on influence.
No,
this
it
wins
doesn't.
in every case.
It does not win on impact. Impact means a lot of different things, and the impact on a person means that same thing. The types of ideologies you learn through 2014. Art is subjective. Art is subjective.
But there's facts here to show that this has influenced more projects.
Is Views a more impactful album because of the
numbers?
numbers?
That has nothing to do with it.
Absolutely.
And the 3 minutes are up. So, guys, we have to leave it to the listeners. Awesome. And I think it's time to grab a beer.
Yeah. That was who left that comment last time. We had mentioned them on a video. Who was that?
I'm not sure. I don't remember the name.
Shout out to you, man. I can't remember you off the top of my head, but that was fire. You know, you guys always come in here and listen. Lou and I fuck with each other. It's not like that. You know.
It's all love at the end of the day, guys. We're doing it for just to have these debates. We like to get heated. We're passionate about the music, but listen, guys, this was fun as it always is. And please let us know which albums you want to see go head to head in the next one, because, like Anthony said at the beginning, we will be doing more of these in the future. So, Ant, do you think you took this one?
Oh, I don't know. I think listen, I think I made some really strong and valid points. So did you, though. Like, I'm not.
It was close.
No, it was very
close.
Because the thing is that nothing was the same as clearly Drake's best album, and I think that I have like a two-way tie between 2014 and For Your Eyes, only for J. Cole's. But some of the biggest timeless classics in the 2010 decade. Leave your guys' takes in the comment sections as usual. And guys, listen, if you're new to this and you did enjoy your experience here, please hit the subscribe button. It's always a pleasure doing these videos for you guys, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you for watching the video. It's always a pleasure doing content for you guys. Listen, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, because we're doing album reviews, and we actually have our series called Everything We Know, where we take you guys through the whole album rollout of the hottest releases of the year. Not only that, guys, but our Patreon plan is now live. You guys can access that in the bio. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.